Rod, is this going to do the trick? David Lammy as Foreign Secretary, that's the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to win us all over. I mean, a couple of things. First, the good things. First, he didn't tell Angela Rayner that he was going to do the reshuffle. And I think that was very wise. I wouldn't tell Angela Rayner anything at all, ever, except to say, go away, learn to speak English properly, and learn that not everyone who disagrees with your asinine worldview is scum. So that's what I'd have done with Angela. But a couple of good decisions. Yvette Cooper is a big beast, a good politician, a Brownite, a very capable operator indeed, and she will do very, very well, I suspect. And similarly, Wes Streeting, that is a blow against the left of the party. Wes Streeting was very, very firm when dealing with the outrageous business of having Jeremy Corbyn leading this party.
I think he's good. He's good. He's a rising star.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
Yeah.
But then after that, you were just left thinking, what on earth has happened to our politics? What has happened to our politics when they are the only big names that you can think of who are of any consequence? You think back to the Labour government with people like David Miliband and Ed Miliband and Blair and Brown and so many people of talent, including Yvette Cooper, including Carolyn Flint, for example, who I think is one of the great missed politicians of our age, Jack Straw, Alan Johnson, all really big beasts, along with so many others, Alistair Darling, for example, Douglas Alexander, all very, very capable, very practiced, very intelligent politicians. And I know every generation thinks that the generation before it had great politicians and what's happened to ours now. But you look at the desperate state of the Labour Party front bench and you think, good Lord, I haven't heard of most of these people. The ones I have heard of are awful. What has happened to us? And then the shining moment, the crowning moment, Dan, and you must have been as delighted as I was. David Lammy. This is a man who is now the shadow Foreign Secretary and would be Foreign Secretary under a Labour government, and a man who appeared on Celebrity Mastermind a few years ago. Now, yeah, OK, it's stretching the word celebrity a bit, and it's certainly stretching the word mastermind until it becomes an oxymoron. And this is a man who, on that programme, was asked, the Rose Revolution of 2000 ushered in, got rid of Edvard Shevardnadze and ushered in a new regime in what country? And he said, Yugoslavia, which had ceased to exist 10 years before. Shadow Foreign Secretary, who doesn't know that Edvard Shevardnadze, one of the great lights of post-Soviet policy, of post-Soviet politics, leader of Georgia, of course, didn't even know that. And then better still, you might argue, when asked which woman called Marie won the Nobel Prize for having discovered radium and polonium, answered Antoinette. I mean, this man is now the shadow foreign. He is that far.
Yeah.
You know, all it takes, because we don't have a very good government, Dan. You know we don't have a very good government. We have a lumbering government which has been behind in the polls. And one day we will wake up and there, flying across the Atlantic on his visit to Washington to meet the president, will be Lammy. And you just shudder.
I know. Well, I know. And that's why, even though, Rod, I have been very critical of this government, you know, you look at the alternative and you just think, no, baby, no. Look, the one thing I'll say about Lammy is that if it means he has to give up his LBC radio show, that's a public service in the world of broadcasting, so that could be a good thing. I am really concerned, though, Rod, as well, about that this seems to be a very Ramona-heavy shadow cabinet. And I feel like Keir Starmer talks the talk when it comes to moving on from Brexit. But actually, when you look at the people who he's promoting, There are people who wanted to overturn the biggest Democratic vote in British history. So Yvette Cooper, she went to great lengths to railroad over the Brexit vote. And David Lammy himself, you know, I think it was literally 3 or 4 or 5 days after the vote, he wrote an editorial for The Guardian saying that there needs to be a second referendum. So I don't like the fact that there's these Ramonas.
It wasn't 3 or 4. It wasn't 3 or 4 days after. It was the very next day.
The next
he said,
day.
"For your time." It was the very next day.
I just didn't think it'd be that shameless.
Well, it did. I mean, David Lammy's an idiot. I mean, an absolute idiot. And it is shocking to think that a party, you know, which had people like Tony Crossland and Lord David Owen in it, David Owen as Foreign Secretary, Jim Callaghan as Foreign Secretary, could now choose David Lammy.
We need a strong opposition. We need a strong opposition.
And we need a strong opposition.
Government on
that's the point. And we don't have one. And we don't have one from the top down. And I've been a bit sympathetic to Keir Starmer because one can only play with the hands you're dealt, you know? Well, a little, because, you know, I think in many senses his heart is in the right place and he doesn't have much to play with. He has a lamentable team of people, you know, which is why we've still got Angela Rayner as deputy party leader, a woman who finds it genuinely difficult to speak the English language.
Yeah.
So he is in a very, very difficult position. The Brexit stuff doesn't worry me very much. I don't think they're going to do anything on Brexit at all. I don't think that figures, and they know that it's a vote loser in the red wall seats. It's a vote loser north of the Severn Trent line. And while it may gain a few votes in London and so on, there are certain other things which they can do to shore up their vote in the south.
Well, maybe it's just me, Rod, but I can't forgive him for it. I can't forgive Starmer.
No, I don't forgive them for it at all. I don't forgive them. No,
can't move on from it.
No, I don't forgive them. I just think it is a pretty desperate strait. The sheer paucity of talent, and I have to say, slightly controversially, maybe you might add, that I think MPs should be paid more. Because if MPs were paid a little
we might get some better talent.